You know, there's a specific kind of arrogance that only comes with owning a Tesla. You're sitting there, hands behind your head, thinking you've outsmarted the entire concept of commuting. I was in that headspace about 10 minutes ago, cruising down the 405 sipping a $7 slat, watching the blue line on the screen do all the work for me. I felt like a god, or at least a god with a very expensive lease. My grandfather used to lecture me about taking the wheel of your own life. Sorry, Grandpa, but your advice is a bit outdated when you've got a neural net doing millions of calculations per second just to keep me centered in a lane. It's the future, right? It's flawless, until it isn't. The thing about AI is that it doesn't panic. It just makes a choice. And for some reason, my car decided that the massive Ford F-150 in front of me was just a suggestion. No warning, no frantic braking, just a smooth, calculated glide into a 3-ton piece of American steel. So here I am, covered in oat milk and regret. The car is silent now, like it's pretending it wasn't even there. And honestly, that's the scariest part. While I'm sitting here questioning my life choices, Big Bob, the driver of the truck I just rearranged, is walking toward me, and he doesn't look like he believes in algorithmic errors. We like to call it autopilot because it sounds like we're in a private jet. But as I'm about to find out, when the metal meets the road, Tesla isn't the one holding the insurance card. I am. Let's talk about why the future of driving is actually a legal trap designed to keep Elon's hands clean and yours, well, shaking? So, there I was, standing on the shoulder of the 405, smelling burnt lithium and Big Bob's cheap cologne. The cop arrives, looks at my crumpled car, looks at me, and asks the most annoying question in human history, "Were you distracted, son?" I tried to explain. "Officer, the car was driving. I paid for the full self-driving package. The blue line was on." He just sighed, like he'd heard this fairy tale 1,000 times before. He pointed his pen at me and said, "The car isn't a person, Abel. You are. Ticket's yours." That's when I opened the Tesla app. I wanted to find someone to blame. I wanted to see that corporate shield protect me. Instead, I found the owner's manual. Have you ever actually read that thing? It's not a manual. It's a 200-page legal restraining order against your own common sense. Buried somewhere between how to use the fart mode and screen cleaning tips, there's the fine print. It says, and I quote, "Autopilot is a hands-on feature. You must maintain control and responsibility for your vehicle at all times." Wait, what? Then why call it full self-driving? It's like buying a self-cooking oven that requires you to hold the pan the entire time, or else it burns your house down. It's a linguistic masterpiece of liability shifting. Tesla gets to market the future, but when that future hits a truck, the legal definition suddenly reverts back to 1920. In the eyes of the law and Tesla's lawyers, my car isn't a robot. It's just a very expensive, very moody cruise control. And according to the contract I agreed to with a single tap while eating a burrito, I am 100% liable for every calculation my genius's car got wrong. Elon isn't sitting in the back seat with a checkbook. He's sitting in a boardroom with a team of lawyers who ensured that the moment things go south, the autopilot is just a driver assist, and I'm just a guy who wasn't holding the wheel. Welcome to the era of beta testing with your life. So I decided to fight back. I put on my only suit, the one that still smells like my cousin's wedding, and prepared to take on the giant. I thought, surely there's justice for a guy whose car tried to merge with a Ford F-150. But here's the thing about fighting a tech giant. You aren't arguing against a car company. You're arguing against a math equation that has never lost a fight. Abel mimics a smug lawyer voice, Your Honor. Exhibit A, Mr. Abel's steering wheel torque sensors. According to our logs, Mr. Abel's hands applied 0.04 Newton meters of pressure for exactly 6 minutes prior to the impact. He was essentially a passenger in a seat he should have been controlling. That's their ultimate weapon, the logs. Your Tesla is a snitch. It records every microsecond of your incompetence. It knows exactly when you stopped paying attention to look at that billboard, and it will use that data to bury you in court. There was a famous case in California where a driver tried the same thing. He blamed the autopilot. The defense? Simple. They showed that the driver was told, repeatedly, that the system is beta. Do you know what beta means in legal terms? It means, if this goes wrong, it's a bug. If you die, it's a user error. Judges in the US have been surprisingly consistent. They look at the steering wheel, they look at the human, and they say, "You're the captain of the ship." Even if the ship has a mind of its own and decides to sail directly into an iceberg, the captain is the one who goes down with it. I'm standing there, looking at these lawyers who probably cost $5,000 an hour, and I realize Tesla didn't sell me a self-driving car. They sold me a legal liability shield for themselves, disguised as a luxury sedan. I was a volunteer test pilot, paying a monthly subscription for the privilege of being at fault. Here's the part that keeps me up at night. While I was busy daydreaming about my latte, the AI was doing something much more clinical. You see, the neural net doesn't see a Big Bob or an innocent Abel. It sees vectors. It sees probability. In that split second before the metal crunched, the algorithm had to make a choice. If it swerves left, it hits a concrete barrier. If it swerves right, it hits a minivan with a family of 4. If it stays straight, it hits Big Bob's bumper. We like to think the car is protecting us. But the truth? The AI is programmed to minimize damage in a way that makes sense to a computer, not a human. There's no hero mode in the code. There's no self-sacrifice protocol. It's just cold, hard physics, mapped onto a silicon chip. Some engineers call this the trolley problem for the digital age. But let's be real. The car's primary objective isn't to be a moral philosopher. It's to avoid the most expensive lawsuits. And since the law says the human is always responsible, the AI has a very convenient out. It can fail, and it's still your fault. Think about that. You're trusting your life to a system that, when faced with a life or death decision, will choose the path of least resistance for the company that built it. It's not your guardian angel. It's a high-speed calculator that doesn't care if you're the one paying the bill or the price. So, when the car decided to hit the F-150 instead of swerving, was it a glitch? Or was it the most logical, least expensive way for Tesla to exit the situation? I'm starting to realize that in the world of full self-driving, the only thing more dangerous than a driver who isn't paying attention is a car that's paying too much attention to the wrong things. So, what's the takeaway here? Is Elon Musk a villain? Is AI a murderer? Honestly, it's less dramatic than that. We're just living in a transition period where the marketing is light years ahead of the law. We bought into the dream of full self-driving because, let's face it, driving sucks. We wanted to reclaim our time. We wanted to be the guys in the sci-fi movies who sleep while the car does the work. But as I sit here waiting for a tow truck that costs more than my first car, I've realized something. Innovation is great, but accountability doesn't scale. Tesla sold me a beta test, and I paid for the privilege of being the crash test dummy. The legal system isn't ready for robots, and the robots aren't ready for Big Bob's brake lights. Until those two catch up, you aren't a driver of the future. You're just a legal loophole with a steering wheel. So here's my advice, and I'm giving this for free. Unlike the $12,000 software that just betrayed me, keep your hands on the wheel. Not because the car can't drive, but because the car won't go to jail for you. I'm curious though, if your Tesla decided to save a bus full of kids by driving you off a bridge, would you still think it's a genius's feature? Or would you be screaming for a lawyer on the way down? Let me know in the comments if you'd still trust the algorithm with your life. As for me, I think I'll take the bus for a while. At least when the bus crashes, I'm not the one getting sued. I'm Abel, and this has been my very expensive lesson in the future of transportation. Don't forget to subscribe. See ya, guys.